Good afternoon to all of you on the East Coast. Good morning to all of you in the middle of the country. And good God, it's too early on the West Coast. How is everybody today? Welcome to Coffee and a Book. Yeah, how's everybody doing this morning? I see we got a bunch in the house. Hello, Anna. How are you? Hi, Joan. It's good to see you. Hope you two are doing well this morning. I got woken up a little too early, and then something happened. A bunch of police cars went by about 8:20 this morning, and yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, hang on one second. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, that's Anna. Anna texted me. What the heck? Give me one second. Let me see what she said. She's probably telling me, Robert, you done something wrong. Woo! Okay, there we go. Gotcha. Okay, I'm better back. Sorry about that. Had to check, make sure everything was good because Anna texted me. I'm like, oh, what did I do wrong? So, hello, Mr. True Ball Python. How's it going? Good to see you here this morning. Glad you stopped in. That's where I get some of my ball pythons. Terry's awesome. Okay. So yesterday I was reading from the personal journal of Trevor Ewatts, and I said I was going to start a new book today, but I decided I'm going to go ahead and read from this one again. Why not? Because got a glare there. It's a really good book. I wrote it, obviously. I think it's a good book. And yeah, this is the one I'm going to be reading from today. So if you're watching the replay or you're watching this now and you didn't watch yesterday's, go back and watch yesterday's, and then you'll understand today's story. So, yeah, should be lots of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and start reading. Yesterday I left off on page 28, which was talking about when Tiara, he got off the phone with Tiara, and he was worried about her. So, today's, let's see here, November 14, 2000. Candy called me last night. She told me that Margaret isn't my daughter. She said she is going to get a DNA test to prove it, to prove I'm not the father. She said she will be. Okay, I can't read this morning. She said she will have the judge stop child support payments and she will repay everything I have paid so far. I don't know what to do. I'm utterly shocked. I have never considered that Margaret wouldn't be mine. Was I that busy at work or just too naive to notice that my wife was unfaithful to me? I don't know what I will do if Margaret isn't mine. My mind is too unsettled to comprehend anything right now. The call center opened and the employees were flooded with calls. I have 50 people working there on the morning shift, 30 on the evening shift, and 10 on the overnight shift. But I need to hire more people. Jay is already on top of it. He has informed the HR manager to take care of the problem. I trust everything to him. The IRS started their audit today, and I'm surprised they went through as much of the paperwork as they did so quickly. Then again, my accountant is very organized, and she has everything in better order than anyone else. I'm going to bed. Too much stress and too much on my mind. November 15th. I talked to Tiara today, and she said that we needed to talk. I'm not sure what she wants to talk about. I'm hoping she doesn't want a relationship. I want to find someone, but I'm not sure I want anything more than friendship with Tiara. I guess I just have to wait and see what she has to say. November 16, 2000. Today was a terrible day. The first 5 minutes I was at work, I was threatened by a client about being thrown in jail. Apparently, the house they were wanting to purchase has jumped in price by $150,000. It took quite a while for me to calm the client down and explain that I have no control over the price of the house since I'm not the listing agent. Thankfully, I was able to. I lost my spot. Thankfully, I was able to calm the client down, and he understood the situation. I bought him lunch, and we looked at other houses that were in his price range. After I got back to the office, I got a call that I had to appear at the courthouse to have my mouth swabbed for a DNA test. Mark called and asked me about his offer. I honestly forgot all about that because of everything that has been going on. I told him I would make a decision by tonight. Tiara is supposed to come over tonight and talk to me about what she has to say. I'm anxious about what she has to say. I'm not sure what I'm going to tell Mark about buying into my business, and I guess I will just have to do a lot of praying, and I have never prayed. All right. Where are we at? Whoops, there we go. November 17, 2000. I got home last night and I called my lawyer. He suggested that the deal with Mark wasn't in my best interest. I called Mark and informed him that I was very grateful of his generous offer, but at the present time I'm unable to accept. I thought he was going to be pissed off, but he was very professional. He thanked me for entertaining the offer. We made plans to have dinner on Sunday. Tiara came over last night also. I was out on the patio when she arrived, and I was startled when she appeared from around the corner of the house. I got up from my chair and unlocked the gate so she could join me. She gave me a hug and sat in the chair next to mine. She said she needed a minute to gather herself before she could talk, and I respected that. A good hour went by. Tiara stood and grabbed me by the hand. She pulled for me to rise from my chair and follow her. She led me into the house and to the bedroom. She kissed me and began undressing herself and me. I was in shock and didn't know what to do, so I went along with it. We made love for hours. It was the most delicate and amazing love I had made up to that day or since. When we finished making love, I held her in my arms. She turned to face me as we lay in bed. She kissed me again. I saw a tear in her eye. With the broken voice, she told me that her father passed the previous week. She said that she is moving to Arizona to be closer to her sister. She told me that she wanted to give herself to me before she never saw me again. She told me that she loved me, but only as a friend. The reason she wanted to make love to me is because she wanted me to feel as loved as I made her feel with our friendship. She then kissed me again, got dressed, and left. I spent the rest of the night crying because I lost my wife, the child I called my daughter might not be mine, and a woman whom I called a friend exited my life in the most glorious way possible. I'm so thankful that it's Friday because I'm going to spend the weekend watching movies and not leave the couch except to use the bathroom and answer the door for the pizza delivery guy. Okay, I got people calling me. I got people texting me. Hang on one second. Let me check my text. Come on, what's going on with this thing? There we go. Oh, not worried about that. Okay. Hi, Christy. How you doing, KT? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. December 2nd, 2000. It's Saturday. It's been a minute since I last wrote in this journal. I haven't felt like writing much. Tiara broke my heart even though we were just friends. I found out that I'm not the father of Margaret. That destroyed me. Work has been so hectic that I can't tell my ass from my elbow. I'm making record-breaking commission, but I'm unhappier than I have ever been in my life. I found a stray kitten the day after Tiara left. This adorable all-black kitten greeted me as I walked out of the front door of my house. I took him to the vet and had him checked out. He has fleas, worms, and was really underweight. I named him Julio. Not sure why, but that's what came to me. He has gained a lot of weight, and he no longer has fleas or worms. I will say that seeing a kitten pooping out worms is more disgusting than anything I have ever witnessed before. Julio is scheduled to get neutered in a few weeks. I've never been a pet person, but having a cat is helping to fill the ever-growing void in my life. I'm depressed. I'm lonely. I'm afraid. I've been attending church every Sunday, but the initial spark of happiness has faded. There is no longer any fulfillment when I attend. I'm debating on whether I should go tomorrow. Gonna listen for a few. Okay, no worries. Take your time. December 3rd, 2000. I decided to go to church today. I needed to be around people who didn't need anything of me. One of the church members lost her house in a fire, and I offered to let her stay with me. We've been friends since I started attending the church. I believe it was very forward of me just to invite a woman to live in my house until she can get everything settled, but she is in her 50s and needs someone. Her name is Debbie. She is very bubbly. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake trying to help someone out. Time will tell. December 8th, 2000. Debbie has moved in, and she is a lot quieter when she is at the house than she is at church. She is still bubbly, but she doesn't talk much. She has been cleaning my house. I keep it very clean, but apparently I don't dust like I should. I didn't remember that the chandelier hanging in the foyer was crystal. It was covered in so much dust. It was in so much dust I forgot about it. It's good to have someone in the house. I don't feel as depressed or lonely. Debbie has asked me to help her find a house. I'm not going to charge her commission. She can't afford much. She is a secretary at a dental office, and the dentist should be slapped for the little amount he is paying her. Thankfully, Debbie had good insurance, and she should be able to buy a house for cash. Her insurance company paid for a total loss without rebuild. She still owns the property, but it will cost more for her to build a house than it will to buy an existing structure. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to purchase her property. I can build a house and put a full-time tenant in it. Deb keeps trying to give me money to cover groceries and bills. I have to keep refusing her money. She doesn't quite grasp that I have enough money to retire right now and never work again for the rest of my life. I'm 22 and I've accomplished so much thus far in my life that I don't know what else to reach for. I just want to be happy and find someone to share my happiness with. Hi, Treasure Freaks. Good to see you. Hi, Marketplace Boutique. Thank you for coming in. Debbie is an amazing cook. She loves to bake, and today I came home to the smell of fresh baked cookies. I cooked her dinner tonight. She was so grateful that she cried. She is overwhelmed with gratitude for my kindness. This weekend will be her first weekend here at the house. It's going to be interesting to see how we spend our time. All right. December 11th, 2000. I had a very interesting weekend. Debbie is so funny. She told me about how she lived in Indiana when she was a child. She decided that she wanted to be an actress, and she moved to Hollywood when she was 18. Fresh out of high school and a girl with a dream was unstoppable. When she arrived in Hollywood with nowhere to live, very little money in her pocket, and no plans, she realized she had made a huge mistake. She managed to find a job waiting tables at a diner, and then she graduated to manager after a few years of working. She went to many auditions, but she never landed a role. She met a man one day while working, and they fell in love immediately. He was on vacation, and he said that he couldn't leave Hollywood without her. Debbie decided that she would drop everything and leave with him. They arrived in Louisiana, and Debbie realized she was home. The man she met worked on the oil rigs and was gone for weeks at a time, but they married and lived happily. Debbie told me stories of the things she and her husband did together. Every story was so over the top that I laughed until my sides hurt. She told me about a time during Mardi Gras when she and her husband had partied so hard that they woke up not only in a cemetery, but cuddled up together in an unoccupied coffin inside of a crypt. When they woke up and tried to get out of the crypt, they caused so much commotion that people thought they were the dead rising from the grave. The police were called and the fire department had to cut the lock and chain to get them free of the crypt. The police didn't press charges because the crypt was empty and neither of them could explain how they had come to be locked in. I fell out of my chair because I laughed so hard at the way she told the story. Yesterday after church, one of the young ladies asked if I would like to get some coffee with her today. I told her yes, and I'm supposed to meet up with her after work. I'm taking Debbie to a few properties today, and hopefully she likes one of them. I don't know what I'll do when she leaves, but I will enjoy every minute that she is at my house. December 12th, 2000. Yesterday was a great day. I met with the young lady from church. I was hesitant about doing so because I don't want to date, per se, a holy roller. But Jessica was amazing. We talked comfortably, and it seemed like we had been friends for years. Before then, I had only spoken to her briefly a few times at church. I think I'm going to call her tomorrow and ask if she would like to join me for dinner. I think it's best to take her to a restaurant, not only because Debbie is living with me, but because I don't want to seem forward. Debbie liked the second of the 3 houses I showed her yesterday. She is thinking about putting in an offer, but she wants to see a few more options before she decides. She listened to me on that suggestion. January 2nd, 2001. It's Tuesday. The office was closed yesterday because of the New Year. I came home early today because I feel like crap. I haven't felt good for the past few days. Jessica hasn't felt good either. I think the food at the restaurant we went to Saturday got the better of us. Debbie found a house. She closed a week ago and moved in 2 days after she closed. I told her that she couldn't move in right away because the house needed an inspection to clear the house before she could occupy the home. I felt bad for lying to her, but I wanted to surprise her with an entire house of furniture. I paid for everything and had it delivered and set up. Jessica helped me, and it made Debbie cry. Ever since I took Jessica to dinner, we have been attached at the hip for the most part. She has spent quite a few nights at my house, but she does go to her house also. She lives in a condo down the road from my house, but it's very small and needs a lot of work. She has been renting for many years, and I don't know how she survived as long as she has in that place. The landlord doesn't care about the place, and it's always rented out to tourists who like to party. Even though Jessica has stayed the night at my house, we haven't done anything sexually. We have kissed a few times, and she tickled me the other day like I was a child. The only reason she stays over is because we both fall asleep on the couch while watching a movie. She owns a condo cleaning business and is always tired from working so hard. My business keeps me stressed, and by the time we start a movie after we eat, we are both out like a light. She is fun, and I found out that her business is the one I use to clean all of the condos I rent out. Since she isn't technically an employee, I don't feel bad about dating her. I don't date employees, although I have had many offers because I don't want to mix business with my personal life. Can't read. January 3rd. Well, my call center was shut down today. A construction company installing pipes for the water department accidentally cut the phone cables. It took 9 hours for them to fix it. I let my employees go home and I still paid them for the hours they would have worked. My lawyer is already drawing up a lawsuit against the construction company for lost income. I can tell you now that the backhoe operator isn't not going to be happy when his boss gets served a lawsuit. I'm still not feeling well, but I managed to make it a full day at work. Jessica works every day except Sunday. She lets her employees work on Sundays so she can get a day off. She gives them Monday and Saturday off. She is coming over again tonight, and I'm making a chicken parmesan with a side of spaghetti. Hopefully, she likes it. It's one of her favorite things to eat. What are you doing, Autumn? The dog's got to be next to me. January 18th, 2001. Oops, hang on. My computer jumped on me. Let me go find that back again. There we go. Nope, wrong page. Jessica and I have been spending a lot of time together. The chicken parmesan was a huge success. We no sooner finished eating when she undressed and had sex with me right there on the dining room table. Thankfully, the blinds to the sliding glass door were closed, or the beachgoers would have had quite a show. Jessica is definitely a wild one. She wants me to do things to her during sex that I have never experienced. What's up, Wondrous Natures? How are you? She likes to be choked, and I'm not into that. She likes it fast and rough. When we are done, she quivers. When she is finally able to calm herself, she jumps on me and wants to go again and again. I've never had sex 6 times in one day. I like her, but she is a little too wild and sexually aggressive for me. I'm not sure what to do. The pastor approached me at church Sunday. He asked me if I would like to give a sermon on Sunday. I haven't given him an answer yet because I'm not sure what I should or would say. It gets a lot better, Jody. I'm living a life of sin and not following the life of a Christian. I only go to church for companionship and to not feel so lonely. January 19, 2001. Work was great. I sold 4 homes today. They were the biggest. They were not, I'm sorry, I can't read. They weren't the biggest or most expensive homes I've ever sold, but it feels good to sell. Jessica scared the hell out of me last night. I finished writing in this journal and she came over. She barely got in the house when she grabbed me by the throat with both hands and started choking me. She started kissing me while she did this. I was on the edge of collapse when she released me. She then smiled an evil smile and she knocked me to the floor and held my throat with one hand while she unzipped my pants and exposed me. She was wearing a skirt without any panties and she inserted me into herself while I was dying from being choked. She finally released me. When I gasped for air, she reached climax and her body twitched, quivered, and jerked. I thought she was having a seizure, but it was just an orgasm. My head was spinning. I hadn't realized that she had gotten me off the floor and led me to the bedroom. She proceeded to tie my hands and feet to the 4 corners of the bed using my neckties. She then mounted me and didn't stop for hours. I yelled for her to stop, not long into the ordeal. once I was able to comprehend what was going on. She took a pillowcase off my pillow and gagged me. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. I couldn't get her to stop. She finally finished around 11 p.m. I felt violated. I was scared. I told her that I really didn't enjoy that. I told her that if she didn't leave immediately, I would be calling the police. I told her to never contact me again. I felt extremely uncomfortable at work today. Even every little sound made me jump. Anxiety got the better of me. Several times I was very grateful when I was able to come home. Whoop. Well, anxiety got the better of me several times. I was very grateful when I was able to come home. I called Pastor Stan and told him that I wouldn't be able to make it to church on Sunday to give any speech. I would try for another day. I'm so glad it's Friday because I will need the entire weekend to get over the fright Jessica put me through last night. Coffee time. January 26, 2001. Well, Jessica tried to kill herself today. I got a call from the police, and the emergency room stated that I was listed as her emergency contact. I went to the hospital, and Jessica looked at me as I entered the room. She was bruised all over. She was getting prepped for surgery because the doctors were going to attempt to reconstruct her legs. More than likely, they were going to have to amputate both of them. The social worker assigned to her case asked if I could speak. I obliged. I was told that Jessica had jumped from the 6th floor of the condominium. She landed on the concrete pool deck below. Both of her legs were shattered, her hips were crushed, and many other bones were broken when she face planted after her legs gave out. She had several skull fractures. She never lost consciousness, and she was still able to talk even though her jaw was crushed. The social worker asked how I was related to her, and I told her that Jessica was a woman I dated. We ended our relationship a week prior to today. The social worker was confused. Jessica had me listed as her husband. I corrected what she had been told. The social worker asked why Jessica would make something like that up. I told her that Jessica jumped from the condo because she was crazy. I told her to send her to the psycho ward and lose the key. I also filed a restraining order against Jessica. The social worker was in utter shock. March 19, 2001. Not the Monday I would wish upon anyone. I lost several accounts at work, but that happens in the business. Lots of new companies offer services for lower cost, and HOAs like saving money. Jessica died today. I guess her body couldn't take the trauma inflicted upon it after she plummeted 6 stories off of a building onto a concrete pool deck. The doctors had to amputate both of her legs. They couldn't fix her hips. She had a colostomy bag because her torso was so destroyed that her internal organs couldn't function. She was awake and alert the entire time of the hospital stay until she died. She had refused to be put into a medically induced coma. She named me as the executor of her will, and I told her lawyer I was going to have to decline. Debbie called me this afternoon. She is in the hospital because she was involved in a car accident. I went to visit her, and she is really messed up. Pastor Stan called me and informed me that one of our church members passed away this morning. I was asked by the family to help arrange everything since I was such good friends with him. Such good friends with the gentleman that passed. I agreed to because Eric was a good friend. He was only 25 and was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a week ago. My brother called and informed me that my father died. Mom isn't doing well and she is expected to die within the week. I got a call from Candy's husband, and Margaret drowned at the pool party yesterday. As heartless as this sounds, I really don't care. I lost all my love for Candy and Margaret when I found out that she wasn't mine. I'm taking the rest of the week off to help Eric's family, and if I get any worse news, I'm going to lose my temper for the first time in my adult life. March 28, 2001. Eric's funeral was today. His passing hit me harder than I ever expected. That's short entry. April 20th, 2001. Sorry I haven't written for a while. Work has been keeping me busy. I met a woman named Brenda last weekend. She is Native American, and her oldest daughter is 2 years younger than me. I'm only 23, and I really don't know what Brenda sees in me. She has been upfront with me. She only wants me for sex and will not fall in love with me. At this point in my life, I'm good with that. I met a girl named Allison a few days ago. She is only 18 years old and is from West Virginia. She is divorcing her husband and decided to come to a friend's house in Florida, find a man, and do nothing but have unadulterated sex until she is fully satisfied. I'm the man she found, and I'm good with that. I met a woman named Ariana the same day I met Allison. She took one look at me, and I took one look at her, and we both knew what we wanted. Nothing but stress-relieving sex. I met a girl named Judith. She is also only 18 years old. Her parents are military, and she is looking to rebel against their rules. She is a whole lot of fun in bed. Yes, it's all about sex. I met a woman named Diana. She is absolutely amazing in bed. We had a whole lot of fun. Yes, I'm currently sleeping with all 5 different women. All of them are only for sex. All of them know that it's only about sex. I have slept with all of them on the same day, and a few of them several times that day. I don't care about love anymore. I just want to enjoy being with as many women as I can. I don't care if one of the women leaves and another one comes over and has sex with me before I can clean up from the last one. This has happened the last 8 times I had sex. 5 different women in one day. I didn't clean up between any of them, and I had sex with 3 of them twice that day. I am a pig of a man, and I know it. At this point in my life, I'm good with that. May 1st, 2001. Today is Tuesday. My mother passed away yesterday. I didn't attend my father's funeral, and I don't plan on attending hers either. The sex with the multiple women got to be way too much for me. I may be only 23 years old, but after a month of nonstop sex with 5 different women, I feel old. I'm not proud, or am I proud that I did that? No. Am I glad that I got to go experience that? Yes. Will I ever do that again? Hell to the no. I made friends with a couple from church, Justin and Amber. They are supposed to come over tonight with another female from church and play board games. I need the company, and I just want to hang out with people. My mind has been all over the place. I managed to keep my cool at work because I don't let my personal life influence my business life, but when I get home, my mind goes crazy. I can't keep a thought long. I get distracted easily. I forget what I'm doing while in the middle of any activity or chore. I think I'm starting to go psycho. Having company will hopefully help. When I'm around people, I'm able to keep focused. You guys liking it so far? Yes? No? Maybe? May 2nd, 2001. Last night was fun. Justin and Amber are a couple of goofballs. The young lady who they brought with them is named Sonia. She is unbelievably gorgeous. She flirted with me, and I will be honest and say that I lost at the board games because I was enthralled with her. Like it. Very good. Thank you. The games didn't last long. We ended up swimming in the pool, and Sonia might as well have been naked. Her swimsuit was almost non-existent. Her body was the kind of perfect that men lust over. Not only is she beyond gorgeous, she is very intelligent as well. She is a lawyer. She owns her own firm and she happens to be the same age as me. Even though we flirted, I didn't give her any indication that I was completely befuddled in her presence. My brain was mush, and I have a hard time keeping my jaw off the floor. Justin told me that Sonia was very interested in getting to know me, but she didn't think I liked her because I didn't show any signs towards an attraction to her. I can't believe I kept my cool that well on the outside. On the inside, I was, holy mother of God, I can't contain myself around this perfect angel of a woman. Yes, it shouted. May 3rd, 2001. Today was a monumental day. Not only did I buy myself socks, I called Sonia and asked her to dinner tomorrow. She accepted the invitation. Today was absolutely insane. My firm closed on 85 properties today. Yes, I said 85. I know that sounds insane, but one client bought 60 of them. This isn't as epic as it would seem, but that is a lot of properties. The client who bought the 60 properties is a developer, and the properties he wants to convert from farmland into multi-million-dollar homes happens to be my agency's listings. Not only did I sell him properties, but he signed the contract to allow me exclusive rights to sell all the properties after the homes have been developed. Thank you, Jody. May 4th, 2001. Sonia is amazing. We had dinner tonight. She wanted to go to a local beach restaurant. We had an awesome time talking. Hey, Randa, how are you? You must be on lunch break. We had an awesome time talking while we ate. We went for a walk along the beach after we ate. Time and distance eluded us. Before we knew it, we had walked all the way to my house. My house is 6 miles from the restaurant. Thankfully, I have a second car just for fun, and I drove her to get her car, and then she drove me to get my other car. We came back to my house, and we talked for hours. She is more than I could ever have expected. I found out that she has saved herself for marriage. I find this intriguing, and I will not take that from her unless I'm the one she marries. It's almost midnight, and I need to get some sleep. Tomorrow, Sonia and I are driving to Panama City Beach to visit Shell Island. May 6, 2001. Yesterday was beyond words. Sonia and I spent the day at Shell Island. She had never ridden in a Ferrari before except the short ride to the restaurant to get her car. She didn't know how to handle all of the attention from people who admired the car. I don't drive my Ferrari much because I don't like to show off too much, and I have to have a vehicle that fits more than one passenger when I drive clients to properties. My daily driver is a Chevy Suburban with all of the bells and whistles. I'm able to carry an entire family in that, whereas a Ferrari only carries one other person besides myself. I also don't want clients to drive themselves and follow a Ferrari to a potential property purchase. Sonia and I collected a lot of shells. I've never been one to hunt for shells on the beach, but Sonia made it fun. She is very witty, and she has an incredible sense to help others. Her law firm specializes in representing wrongfully convicted felons. She makes little to no money, and she is very humble. Her firm relies on donations from people and organizations to pay the bills and fees to defend clients. She is the most astonishing woman I have ever met. I can't wait to see where our relationship takes us. May 19, 2001. I know I haven't written in a while. Today is Saturday. My brother called me yesterday and asked if he could come visit. I told him he is more than welcome to come. I offered to buy his plane ticket, but he said he is going to drive. Sonia and I have been officially dating for a month. I've been so busy with her and work that I haven't found the time to write in this journal. Everything about Sonia is more than I could have imagined or dreamed it could be. She is understanding in every way. She isn't self-absorbed. She isn't materialistic, but she does appreciate the Ferrari. She laughs easily, but I know it's a true laugh. Most days we spend together, we get simple ingredients to make food at my house. Her house is very simple, and she doesn't have any clutter around the house. When we venture out in public, we enjoy nature. I didn't know that there were so many parks available to explore. For example, Florida Cavern State Park is a beautiful area to explore. There is a cave on the property, and they give tours. I never really experienced nature beyond the Florida beaches. She has opened me up to a whole new world. Work has been busier than ever. More people are vacationing in our area. I have expanded my rental company to handle rentals along the Gulf Coast from Ocala to Biloxi, Mississippi. I had to expand my call center and hire a lot of new employees. I now have almost 500 employees working around the clock to take reservations and help guests with issues they may incur during their stay. Julio is completely psychotic. During the middle of the night, he thinks it's a great idea to run through the house as fast as he can. He then lands on my chest and plops his butt in my face as he lays down to sleep for the night. I don't know why he only sleeps on my chest, but that is where he ends up. He doesn't like to be held, and he won't sit anywhere near me any other time of the day, though. Very weird cat. August 5th, 2001. Today is Sunday. I haven't written in a while. I was originally writing in this journal to help focus my mind and to keep myself occupied. I have been neglecting writing because I have been very happy and busy. Sonia and I are doing very well. We spend every day together, but she and I have never spent the night at each other's house. She is saving herself for marriage, and I respect that. I will not put either of us in the situation that we may be tempted to break her promise to herself. I've been giving sermons at church regularly. I still don't believe that Jesus died for my sins, but I don't talk about that. I talk about living a life of faith, love, and sacrifice. That's what Jesus believed in, and that is what I talk to people about because I feel I'd be lying to them otherwise. Many people have given their life to the Lord and accepted Jesus as their Lord and Savior after hearing me speak. Pastor Stan is always astounded how I'm able to lift their hearts of those to whom I speak. I can't say that I live a perfect life, but I don't break any laws. I have never consumed alcohol. I have never smoked, and I have never done drugs, and I treat others with kindness. I always try to put others first in my life. I don't judge anyone no matter what their circumstances are. Sonia has helped me with this with her job. I think I have said before that she is a lawyer that represents wrongfully convicted felons. I never knew or realized how corrupt and wrong our legal justice system is in this country. I don't want to talk politics, but something needs to change. Too many lives are ruined because the system is beyond broken. Unfortunately, I think it is only going to get worse. I have a long week ahead of me. I have decided to open a secondhand thrift store. I'm using one of the empty stores in the strip mall where the call center is. I won't be charging rent, and every item for sale will be donated by the public. All of the proceeds of sales will be going to the local animal rescue, a men's shelter, a local food pantry, and to Sonia's Foundation to help wrongfully convicted felons. She was in tears when I told her, and she humbly agreed to let me do that for her. The other things going on at work are more business than ever. In the past year, my business has quadrupled in sales, rentals, and profit. I've sold off a few properties that I used as rentals. There are newer companies wanting to get into the business, and I have a lot of properties. I only buy properties that I can get at a really good bargain, and when I sell them off, I make huge profits. I believe I mentioned previously that I bought the lot where Debbie's house once stood. I managed to convince the city to let me build a multi-family home on the property. The construction will be finished soon, and I will be able to rent 3 apartments out to locals for a really good price. I don't like overcharging rent to locals because I know what the cost of living is versus wages paid what versus the wages paid are. There's a big discrepancy. Prices are always higher because we live in a tourist area. Although it's geared towards families, prices generally tend to run higher than areas with less tourism. Thank you, KT. With all of the tourists who visit the area slowing down in the next few months, the locals start buying homes and looking for investment properties. The life of a realtor is never dull. I found out a fun fact the other day. There are more realtors in Okaloosa County, Florida than there are realtors in the entire state of Tennessee. I'm not sure how true that is, but I wouldn't doubt it at all. We realtors are like fleas on a dog. We are everywhere. August 7, 2001. Well, I sold my Ferrari. I had no intentions of ever getting rid of that car, but someone offered me a deal I couldn't turn down. The value of the car is 5 times higher than what I originally paid for it. Naturally, I had to part with it. It is only a car after all, and I have no emotional attachment to it. I've decided to buy another car with the money. I sold my Ferrari I sold my Ferrari for. I've made plans to take Sonia to Miami for a week, and I plan on purchasing something then. I'm not sure if I will drive it home or have it shipped. It all depends on what I buy. I told Sonia that I was thinking of planning a trip to Miami, and she is all for it. I didn't think she would be at first, because it would mean that we would be spending the night together in a hotel. We haven't even stayed the night at each other's house, let alone a hotel many miles from home. While we are there, I'm going to drive to Key West for the day. I think Sonia will like that, and neither of us has been there. I'm looking for rental properties in Key West as well as Miami. I've looked at a lot of properties that are for sale, and I think I'm going to invest in them if the price is right. Most of the properties need work, and I have a guy who will do the work for a great price. If all goes well, I should be able to pick up at least 4 new properties and a new exotic car. September 1st, 2001. Today is Saturday. Sonia and I just got back from our trip to Miami. We had an amazing time. We managed to sleep in the same bed together and not do anything. I believe I have mentioned before that Sonia is saving herself for marriage, and I fully respect that. We looked at over 12 properties while we were in Miami, and I put in offers on 2 of them. I'm sure I will be hearing back soon if the offers were accepted or not. Sonia and I just didn't go to Miami to work. We turned into tourists ourselves. We went to quite a few different places and went to the beach. I went car shopping, and Sonia reluctantly went with me. She says she doesn't like cars, but when we drove out of that lot in a brand new 2001 Lamborghini Diablo Roadster, she had a smile on her face bigger than I have ever seen before. We drove the Lamborghini to Key West for a day. What? I'm losing my mind. We drove the Lamborghini to Key West for the day. There we go. I can't even talk. The drive there was long, but the view was amazing and beautiful. We went to a place called Green Parrot because the brother of my office manager works there, and she wanted us to say hello. Miami is a lot of fun, actually. I've been there. It's a bar, and neither Sonia or I drink. They did have a gift shop, and we each bought a T-shirt. We went to the southernmost point in the U.S. and took pictures next to the marker. We saw the southernmost home in the U.S., and we took pictures in front of it. We looked at 6 properties that were for sale, and I put offers in on 4 of them. 2 were immediately rejected, and I wasn't going to negotiate any further on them. I'm waiting to hear back about those offers as well. If all goes as planned, the 4 properties I'm waiting to hear back on will help me grow my business. I decided to have the Lamborghini shipped home versus driving it. I didn't want Sonia to drive the Suburban all the way back to the Panhandle by herself. When we got back to Miami, it was late, and I dropped the car off at the dealership the next day for transport. It's supposed to be delivered Monday. Lying in bed next to Sonia was so very intense. I wanted to cuddle with her, but I didn't want her to feel violated. I respect her promise, and I left her alone. She asked me while we were driving home how difficult it was for me to sleep in the same bed with her. I told her that it was torture. She laughed. She didn't say how she felt, and she didn't elaborate on her laughter. I have to admit that my willpower is stronger than I ever knew. Lay down. You're not going outside. No, you just came in, dork. Dogs want to go out. September 3rd, 2001. My Lamborghini arrived today. My neighbors were all outside to see why there was a huge semi on our street. When the car came out of the back, I heard gasps. One of them was mine, but more so for my neighbors. It's not every day that a car like that is ever seen. Our area is working class with a lot of wealthy people mixed in. The tourists are our bread and butter, and they don't usually drive exotic cars on their vacations. In a family-oriented vacation area, minivans rule the road. All of 4 of my offers were accepted without further negotiation. I will be going back to Miami and Key West next week to close on the properties. Sonia isn't able to go because she is taking on a new case and she has to focus her attention on her client. I will be flying into Miami on a private plane. My colleague owns several airplanes and happens to be going to Miami on the 11th. Hi, Ivy, thank you. He said I can hitch a ride with him. I've never been on a private airplane before, so this should be fun. The thrift store is way more successful than I could have imagined. I had to use 2 other storefronts that were unoccupied as storage due to all of the donations received. We have staff of volunteers that process all of the donations received. All of the clothing has to be inspected, sorted, and washed. The home goods and other items have to be inspected, sorted, and cleaned if necessary. Furniture has been a big nightmare. Who knew furniture could take up so much space? Anything broken is given to a company that reuses and refurbishes broken items. They repair any broken furniture or repurpose it. The work they create is beautiful. They use the clothing that can't be sold to make blankets, purses, bags, and they also repair anything that is easily repairable. All of their items are sold and the proceeds are donated as well. Thankfully, our volunteer team has been abundant. They are able to process the items quickly, and most items sell as soon as they hit the shelves. It's been very difficult to keep the shelves full because people are buying everything. The manager of the thrift store is the only paid employee, and all the other employees are volunteers or low-risk criminals working off their community service. September 11, 2001. My day started at 6 this morning. I boarded my colleague's private jet, and we headed to Miami. We landed an hour and 20 minutes later. Going through the airport was easy because it's for business and private jets only. I was waiting for my car to pick me up when I heard people starting to run into the airport. I turned and saw that everyone was huddled together and watching the news. My colleague and I went inside to see what the emergency was. Tower 1 of the World Trade Center was hit by an airplane. We were all watching in astonishment. People were crying. There weren't many people at the airport, as would be in a commercial flight airport, but the crowd was large and was growing larger as we watched. Not long after we started watching the news, Tower 2 of the World Trade Center was hit by an airplane. I knew immediately that this wasn't an accident. I got my cell phone out and called Sonia immediately. She answered on the first ring. She had heard about the trade center and panicked because she didn't know if I had arrived safely. I assured her that I was safe in Miami. Oh yeah, Paris is squawking up a storm right now. And Autumn, lay down. You're not going out. No, don't drink my coffee. Stop. Quit. I had forgotten that I was waiting for a car to pick me up, and I heard my name being called by someone behind me. Hey, treasure scavengers, how are you? It registered to me that my driver was there to take me to the real estate office to close on 2 of my properties. I felt numb. My driver was visibly shaken when he asked if I had seen what happened. Traffic was exceptionally light on the roads. When I arrived at the realtor's office, the realtor was broken down in tears and kneeling. I found out that the Pentagon had also been hit by an airplane. Her son worked there, and the phone lines across the country were flooded with calls. If you could get a phone call through, you were lucky. She was panicked because she didn't know if her son was all right. I didn't say anything to her, but I helped her to her chair and I held her hand while she cried. When the phone rang, she sprang up from the chair with such force, her chair toppled over behind her. I heard her gasp and praise the Lord. Her son had called and said that he worked on the other side of the building. She was relieved, but she was still very upset. The closing on the properties took way longer than expected. I had rented a car to drive to Key West, and I couldn't call the realtor I was supposed to meet to tell them I would be late. It didn't matter because everything was running late. I arrived in Key West, and the realtor quickly passed me the paperwork and finalized the deal. He was scared and very upset. He informed me that all air traffic was suspended until further notice. This means that I'm going to be stuck in either Miami or Key West until I can fly again. I'm not up for a long drive. The realtor offered me to stay at his beach bungalow. His home is very modest and he is single. He has a 3-bedroom and he is gracious enough to let me stay free of charge for tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to return the rental car and find a hotel in Miami if I can. If not, I will stay at one of my new properties. If I'm not, I'm sure I can find a store that will sell sleeping bags and pillows. Hopefully, I won't be stuck too long. I have a lot of work to get done when I get home. All right. September 13, 2001. I finally made it home. My colleague and I flew back early this evening after the civilian air traffic was allowed to resume. Neither of us said a word during the entire flight. The world had changed overnight, and a lot of people are scared. Is our country going to war? If so, where will the war take place? Are there more terrorists plotting unimaginable things to kill people? Too many unanswered questions and too much fear. I'm going to bed because my body aches from sleeping on the floor of my new property in a sleeping bag. You guys liking it so far? Oh, being a prayer, I didn't see you sneak in. How are you? September 28, 2001. Sonia has left me. I was going to write in this journal yesterday, but I hadn't started yet. I left my laptop open and Sonia happened to see a section of the journal I had written previously about me sleeping with 5 different women during the same time period and not caring. Sonia told me she couldn't be with the man who had done something like that. She said that my sins were too great. She said she would never be able to look at me the same after reading what she read. I tried to explain that everyone has a past. She doesn't judge the convicted felons she works with, who she feels were wrongfully convicted. She doesn't even judge the ones who are actually guilty. How can she judge me for making a decision during a difficult time in my life? We weren't together during that time. We didn't even know each other during that time. She said that she was so disgusted with me that I have probably ruined men for her forever. Everyone has a past, and we either accept it or we move on. Sonia decided to move on. I'm just upset that she violated my privacy. I don't have anything to hide from her, and I would have gladly shared this journal with her if she asked to read it. She saw my laptop open and took it upon herself to snoop and read this journal. I don't know what else she accessed on my laptop, but if she had the gall to read my journal, who's to say she didn't pry into my finances or business affairs? I have never cheated on Sonia. I have never made a sexual move towards her because I respect the fact that she chose to save herself for marriage. I never pressured her to do anything, and I never asked. Yes, I made some very inappropriate decisions during that time in my life. I will be the first to admit that I was a pig, and I had no cares in the world about people's feelings. I just wanted to feel release, and sex with many different women is the path that I chose. I can live with that decision, and I will live with that decision. Yes, I am reading from the book that I wrote. I'm going to show it to you real quick again. It's called The Personal Journal of Trevor E. Watts, and I did take that photograph, which later on in the book you'll hear about. September 29, 2001. Talk about a weird night. I was out cruising around in my Lamborghini when I witnessed a car accident. Everyone was all right. I gave the woman Katrina, who hit the other woman, a ride home. We had a light conversation on the way to her friend's house in Mary Esther in Parish Point. We got to her friend's house and I got her suitcase out of the car. Today was the first day of her vacation and she wrecked her car. She said that she wanted to just sit for a minute, so I got back in the car. Thank you, KT. That means a lot. I heard her say under her breath that she wanted to go home with me. We were sitting in the car for a while and she leaned over and started kissing me. We were kissing on and off for a while before her friends opened the garage and ended what we were doing. They wanted to know what the situation was. I don't think they saw us kissing, but they wondered who I was. They wanted to know how Katrina ended up in a Lamborghini Diablo Roadster with a stranger on her first day of her vacation. Katrina explained that she had wrecked her car and I was kind enough to give her a ride to her friend's house. That was the entirety of the situation, and nothing more needed to be said about it. I know I could have taken her home if I wanted to. I decided not to because I don't want to do that. I don't want a one-night stand with a total stranger. I just broke up with Sonia yesterday, and I really don't want to just have sex with anyone. I could do that by going to the beach behind my house and finding a sure thing. She was a beautiful woman. Nonetheless, she was 35 years old. She has a 17-year-old and a 9-year-old. I don't need a woman with kids. I lost my wife last year, and I found out that the child I called my daughter wasn't even mine. There is no way I was going to have a one-night stand with a woman I just met who is also the mother of two older children. I didn't see a ring on her finger, but from some of the things Katrina said, I believe that she was married. Kissing was enough for me tonight. When she got out of the car, I left rather quickly. I did drive by the 3 properties I owned in the neighborhood just to see if they were still being kept up well. Awesome. Yeah, I'd be glad to help her out so she can get it published or edited or whatever she needs. September 30, 2001. Church was awkward today. Sonia wasn't there and nobody seemed to question me why she wasn't with me. I got quite a few looks of disgust from a few of the churchgoers as I walked to the sanctuary. When I arrived in the sanctuary, several of the people that were mingling looked at me and then walked away from me quickly. These are people I talk to every Sunday, and I considered them friends. I decided that it was not in my best interest to stay. I left the church, climbed into my Lamborghini, and smoked my tires all the way through the parking lot, leaving 2 beautiful black streaks from my tires. Bye, Randaland. Love you. Thank you for stopping in. Have fun at work. I'll see you in 2.5 hours. October 25th, 2001. Today is Thursday. I met a young lady at the grocery store today. She has lived in the area her entire life, and she works at a bank in the grocery store. So, yeah. She was very flirty, and I asked if she would like to join me for dinner. She agreed to dinner tomorrow night. I'm going to drive the Suburban and won't let her know where I live. I don't want her to know that I have money, but if she is really from the area, she will know who I am because my face is plastered on billboards throughout the area. We'll see how things go. Oh, that's right. You're going to the farm. I'll see you when you get back from the farm. Make sure you give Gunner a nice, good kiss for me. The thrift store is booming and all donations to Sonia's firm have been refused. I have decided that the other charities will split that portion the portion that she is refusing, I'm sure they'll be grateful. October 20. Oh, Ivy's leaving. Bye, Ivy. Oh, maybe not. Okay, don't mind me. I don't know what I'm talking about. October 26, 2001. Here is a bit of irony for you. I got a knock on my door this evening after I got home. I didn't recognize the young man at the door, but he looked official. I answered the door, and the man introduced himself as detective or some detective of another. He asked if I had seen Elsa Carter. He had been informed that he could find her at this address. I told him that I had no clue who that is. He showed me a picture. I told him that her name is Sonia Whitaker. The detective informed me that Elsa was wanted in connection to a prostitution ring in both New Jersey and New York. She was a known prostitute and is wanted for felicitation of prostitution of minors and women. She was seen at my house by the couple from New York who rented my other property during the winter months. They had come down for a week this summer and saw her. They quickly reported her discovery to the police, and now here stood a detective. I noticed quite a few black SUVs as well as vans in the neighborhood. I believe they were police officers ready to make an arrest. I didn't hesitate to give the detective Sonia's work and home address. After the detective left, I noticed that all those black vehicles went with him. I quickly got in my Lamborghini and drove over to Sonia's house. I was only a block away when I saw her being escorted out of the front door with her hands behind her back and in handcuffs, and a police officer on either side of her. Just for giggles and grins, I gave my Lamborghini a quick rev of the engine so the exhaust would make some noise. Sonia looked in my direction, and I could see the look of shame on her face. As she put her head down, I knew that would be the last look on her face I would ever see. Karma has taken a huge bite and swallowed hard. I quickly drove home and got ready for my dinner engagement. When I arrived, the young lady was waiting for me in the parking lot. When I joined her by the front door of the restaurant, she said that she wished I had driven the Lamborghini. I followed her to the restaurant, and shortly after we were seated, I excused myself to use the restroom. I walked out the front door and left her sitting there. Karma was hungry tonight. November 25th, 2001. I met a girl that works at McGuire's in Pensacola about 2 weeks ago. I went there with some clients after a business meeting. My clients only left her a $3 tip on a $60 order. I didn't feel that was enough, and I didn't have any cash or my wallet on me. I drove all the way home, got my wallet, and drove all the way back over there and gave her another $10. She was very grateful. She said most people would have just left it at that and walked away. She came over last Monday and stayed both Monday and Tuesday nights. As a matter of fact, I'm on the phone with her right now. She is talking about having a relationship with me, but I don't want that from her because she had sex with me the first night. Oh, by the way, her name is Allison. I don't want to have another relationship based on sex. I want to be able to get to know someone before we hit the sack and get freaky. Allison is a culinary student in Shreveport, Louisiana, and she drives back and forth every day to attend classes. While she was at my house, she cooked some of the most delicious pork chops I have ever eaten. If I get anything from our relationship other than sex, it will be the recipe for those pork chops. Ooh, we're going on an hour. December 13, 2001. I got mail today and saw a letter from California. It had the return address of Candy's house. I decided to read it against my better judgment. When I opened the envelope, it contained a single sheet of paper. Typed neatly across the top, it said, "Candy has passed away. Her services will be held December 18th. If you would like to attend." There was no signature, just these words and the blank whiteness of the sheet of paper. Allison sensed that something was wrong and came over to me. I just stood in the middle of the living room, stunned. Allison walked me to the couch and helped me to sit down. She looked at the letter and didn't say anything to me. It's only been an hour. She wrapped her arms around me and just held me. I don't know why this hit me so hard. The finalization of the divorce was nothing. Finding out that Margaret wasn't mine didn't hurt me this bad, and Margaret's death didn't even faze me. Why did this hit me so hard? Is it because she was my first wife? Is it because she was my first love? Is it because I feel guilty for not feeling anything when Margaret died? Whatever it is, it sucks. I hurt deep down inside, and I don't know what is causing it. Allison is staying the night again tonight because she doesn't have classes this week, and her house is lonely. She says she is going home tomorrow, but that is what she said yesterday. All right. On that note, since it's been an hour, I'm gonna leave you guys hanging. So come back tomorrow, and I will read some more of this. What am I on? Make sure I have the right page. Page 66. So tomorrow I'll start page 67 and read some more. Until then, I'm going to finish off my small cup of coffee today because the big one was too much yesterday. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you haven't seen part one, go back or you didn't see yesterday's episode where I started reading it, go back and watch it, and then you can follow along and know the whole story. Tomorrow's story will start January 1st of 2022. So thank you for stopping in. Appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. We'll see you tomorrow at the exact same time, noon Eastern, 11 Central. I think, 9 o'clock California time. See you later. Thanks for coming.